League Tournament 4, Scorched Earth. You're looking at the Chinese Wunderkind. It is indeed USE-M246. He's locking in with Soviets. He's got the conscripts, and he's got a bit of a tall ask today, Ed, because who's he up against playing his OKW in the north?
He's against the UK Wonder Kid God himself, Isildur, who has emerged onto the scene over the last year as probably the toughest player, most consistent player to have to go up against in a sweaty 1v1 gaming tournament. And yeah, here he is locking in OKW, Matt, for all those OKW fanboys in chat. Here's your time to shine.
Oh yes, and the map is Crossroads version 2. The cutoffs are a little bit further away from these bushes. It's meant to make the game play better. One thing I know for certain, Ed, is that Soviets on Crossroads, and I'll tell you why, they are known to be a little bit overly powerful. And the reason is you get more strategic points than you usually do. And Soviets, as everybody knows, are fantastic in the late game due to that manpower economy. So the fact that they have a little bit more resource income really helps them get to that late game struggle. But if any player is going to throw a spanner in the works of the Soviet steamroller, it would be Isildur, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I, for one, can't see why there aren't 8-man cons flying around in this patch, but we'll have to settle with 7, folks, still. And one thing that's surprising me with Isildur always is just how safe he can make those first engagements. He never really seems to be caught off guard by his opponent in the very early game. And Crossroads is a nice big long map, and already he's doubling up with the Sternpires, backing up his Volks. That's going to be first engagement one for Isildur.
Could be, but there's a third conscript joining, Ed. Stern Pioneers waited for the folks to lead the fray, then they pushed in. They're in light cover, yes, but they're now being double-teamed by 2 conscripts. To me, it looks like USE is going to hold this cut-off. Meanwhile, we've got an engagement in the east. We've got combat engineers. We don't need to see that. That was a big one, though, in the west, Ed, because he did everything right then, Isildur, but
yeah, gave him the big build-up and then bang! M246 saw it coming, but just look at the fuel, though. Isildur's still 26 fuel a minute income. Nothing's too serious. He will come back and rebuild. But yeah, double Pioneers into 3 cons rather than 4 cons just gave quite the speedy troops to the field timing for use. And I think that caught Isildur napping a bit.
It did indeed. This, by the way, is not the fuel cutoff, don't forget. This is the fuel cutoff. It is unlike regular Crossroads. And why are we on winter? It's because it is the theme of the tournament, Scorched Earth. It's all about when, of course, the Russians were attacked, not once but twice in the space of 100 years. And they just retreated into the vast Russian wilderness and scorched all utilities and resources away from their invaders. And it worked a treat both times. So we named this tournament in their honour. But in this tournament, Ed, it's not resources they scorch, it is commanders. They can only use a commander once in the tournament after the mid-stage. And what commanders have we got at our disposal?
Diversity high pipe. We've got a bit of guard motor just for those old 2017 fans in chat. Then we got the Baolang B4 Master Race. That could be an interesting option. Counter-attack tactics. And then we've got the SVT Sweatycom meta, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to see that again. Meanwhile, Isildur's got Firestorm. Absolute lad. And then he's got Overwatch with a bit of Scavenge on the side. And he is one player, whether it's 1v1 or 2v2, I've seen use Scavenge better than most.
Scavenge is underrated, in my opinion. That, by the way, this is very good from Isildur. He was able to get some steel barricade down and the Stern Pioneers behind the green cover. Very nicely planted for him by USE. He's taken the fuel cutoff. We have to keep an eye on everything happening here. Meanwhile, though, we've got USE going for the same in the east. 2 Folks Grenadiers are pinning him down, though. We've heard an Urok come down as well. He's trying to find an angle around that sandbag to take advantage of the cover.
Not only do I like the build order of USE, Matt, I also like how he's utilizing that flamethrower unit, getting that early power spike, doing some work, as well as utilizing 3 cons to max potential with already a sweeper, so no shoe mines should be catching him off guard. Good build, but also great utilization of the few units he does have. He didn't go for the mindless 4 cons strat. This is well thought out and well played at the moment by USE.
I can confirm that some of the players on other streams today are playing on the old version of Crossroads because we are on 32-bit. So of course they were caught out by the fact that this is pre-patch Ed, and this has that old version of Crossroads Winter where this cutoff's way too close to this bush, and it makes the map much worse to play. So I think we've got players like Loveness right now playing on the inferior version. But as I say, they were caught out off today, by the way, guys, because we are on 32-bit. The 64-bit version kind of nuked the ability to watch custom games in observer mode. But as a community, Ed, we always rise above, and we always make the show go on. And even with no sleep, as you have today, Ed, the show is going. The show continues.
No one noticed the thing
until he mercilessly brought it up.
Nah. Well, what I'm saying though is, interesting option with flak half track straight into an MG double suppression platform. USE does not have a AT gun yet, which is surprising given he didn't make too many squads early on. So there it goes, finally answers my call. So that'll be an AT gun, but only 3 cons, so 1 less snare running around on the field, and double suppression from Isildur before he goes into the flak into the Raketten. This is ballsy, but given the what he knows about his opponent and his build order, doesn't see the Ziz gun yet. I feel it's fair play, but there he goes. Curveball, Matt. Straight up from Isildur. Another Volk instead of the Raketten to back up. So he must know the T70 is a long way away.
Well, he knows it because he's been able to take this cutoff twice now and hold it with a very fateful sandbag. USE must have his face in his hands, knowing he's done this. It's really helped his opponents overly so. And now with 2 suppression platforms, we could be seeing a lockdown, and not of the COVID variety, of the fuel economy type, and that's coming very soon. An embargo, Ed. Isildur is embargoing USE and is going to deprive him of any resources.
Yeah, I think Isildur, we don't be surprised if we don't even see a commander this game. We saw last week how he could just blitz through people with his OKW skills without needing any help of the additional spicy units. But yeah, I think USE has weathered the storm though. He's gonna hold on out until that T70, but which he could build now. Yeah, there we go. Clicks it in, and this is the crunch really. How well can USE utilize this T70 to really push Isildur off? Because at the moment it's just textbook OKW cut-off play.
Isildur is, I would describe him, underwhelmingly overwhelming. It's not just one thing he does, Ed, it's everything he does. You don't see like this one amazing trick. There's no trick to it, it's just consistency. And you'd have to, if you want to basically discover the glory of Isildur, I might have mentioned this during the World Championships, you have to pause the gameplay and just take stock of his positioning at every point in the game. If you want to learn to be as dominant as he is, it just really catches up with players. But here we go, we have got the T70 out, we've got the Ziz gun out. USE has all of his army available to him, he just doesn't have map control right now. Let's see how this T70 can navigate the hedgerows. Exciting stuff!
Yep, and also exciting, we got the first commander choice of today, and it's going to be USE going for guard motor. So he loves mid-2017, loves mid-meta, and guard motor is the choice. The T-3485s later on can be hell to deal with for Isildur's OKW, and a better marked target can't hurt along the way, and some guards.
I think USE just needs to lock down one sector now and stop dividing his troops up, because Isildur has the Raketten Werfer, he can keep the T-70 at bay. Maybe just try and lock down this western side.
It's a catch-22, because if you go ham on one side, you become a bit predictable. Your opponent can switch across with the 2 suppression platforms he has and kind of shut you down. So I still think he's got to sprawl, he's got to wriggle out somehow, and he is starting to make a foothold. He's got a fuel back under him. It's a very early game, remember. If Soviets can get to that later game where their pop cap and their veterancy kicks in, they really are tough to deal with. So USE trying to weather this early storm, but I just think Isildur's build order has been superb. He's read the situation very well, and limited the impact this T-70 is going to have.
Look at this Folks Grenadier is so incisive. He doesn't try and battle against the units behind green cover. He goes straight for the weak point. He's got the Raketenwerfer backing up the Folks Grenadier. Stone Pioneers leading the way with the Minesweeper. This is incisive. This is just plain old overwhelming. Did he get a Faust off? No, he didn't. We do have the Zis barrage coming in. He's going to go out of the cutoff for now. He spreads out and he's looking for a victim.
And even so, it looks like a GG push potential. For most players, they'll probably get a bit too excited and go all in.
Oh, we got the T-70, by the way. The Raketenwerfer pushed forward, took it out. USE is being pegged back right now.
Yeah, and it's just so calm, even in attack. It's amazing to see. I don't think many other players are this composed, especially with OKW at the moment, in this kind of era and patch.
Look at this. This is a pretty aggressive Schwerpanzer headquarters placement as well, and he can do that based on the ebb and flow of the battle, because right now he's a riptide. And USE, has he played a little bit too passively at times? Did he go for 3 conscripts when he could have gone for 4? Just in the name of having a guard squad later on and not hurting his manpower economy perhaps. But for me, you know, maybe it would have been better to just go for 4 cons. I mean, we're not to doubt him. He's number 3 in like 3 or 4 of the ladders, so...
Yeah, he went for a slightly edgier build and commended forward, but no, I just think, like I was saying, I know I jinxed it with the first engagement. It looked bad for Isildur. He had to retreat 2 units, but really he won on the macro scale because down the right-hand flank he was capping and decapping against a lone combat engineer. So you could say USE overcommitted to that good engagement for him, and it just lost him in terms of map position. And although there's a lot of green cover from the conscripts around the map, he hasn't been able to dig in really and just hold some territory against Isildur's endless waves of precise movement.
Isildur was desecrating war graves there, so here comes USE to try and thwart him with the Zis gun. Meanwhile, this mortar has been firing, so GG Mortar's been building an elite level 1 versus 1 contest for the first time in a century. And I
like how it's the little mortar as well. He didn't even go for the big boy calling mortar of Doomski, but nope, he's just gone for the little baby 82mm, but still a GG mortar nonetheless. Gives him a flare opportunity to provide some great vision for, I think, 40 munitions. So we'll see.
That's why it's so valuable to have these Chinese and Korean fresh perspectives in an a previously EU-dominated scene, because some of these players are just looking at utility of the mortar with the smoke barrage. I'm under a suppressive kind of dominant players, guys, so I'll get the mortar, help me wiggle out of the situation, and he's done just that. He's also putting some defensive mines down, and he's surviving right now, Ed. He's doing nothing more than survive, and he's doing a good job of it. He's also got the Maxim out now, so he's starting to build that support weapon core. It's really going to help him.
Yeah, he took your experienced advice and really hunkered down on one side. Still, you know, bleeding a lot of munitions to Isildur, and he's got quite good fuel control, so there would be a P4 available should he choose to go for it now. But this is just USE hanging on in that typical Soviet mid-game dilemma. If you've lost your T-70, but the war's not done, and so long as you've got some Ziz guns and support weapons with cons to support it, I think you're good to go to get into that late game.
Grenades in unison, both of the incendiary variety, scorching the earth under their feet as the Folks Grenadiers are looking for an angle on USE's prepared position. What follow-up does he have? Not much. It's just reconnaissance for now. He's taking stock of the situation. A Folks Grenadier on the west side, however, is going to neutralise the fuel as the Panzer IV is under construction.
Yeah, just you can just see almost on the minimap alone, there's so much going on all the time with Isildur's control, flanking from every direction, giving his opponent angles. You just love to see it, really.
Francis in chat, a name I've never seen in this scene, but that indicates that he might be a casual player for all I know. But sometimes the casual eye is all you need. One Stuka and that's all gone. He's exactly right. You know, if this build now, this defensive offering from USE, he's just built the core 3 defensive weapons, the Zis, the mortar, and the machine gun, that leaves you wide open for rocket artillery. So if you're in a dominant position like Isildur, one of the ways to finish your opponent off is the use of rocket artillery.
Yeah, but he's got the P4, so I think that will have to make do for now. It would, for swag points, definitely, as a big fat Stuka barrage would be great against Soviets, but you always feel so naked unless you've got a medium tank out to defend against what usually is a quick T-34. But with that T-70 loss, which was pretty careless by these guys' standards, Matt, it's really put Hughes on the back foot, but he's still hanging in there, gets the second Ziz gun, and suddenly then Isildur's having to be a bit careful with his armor.
Yeah, but it's careful in the way that a bear is careful of a hedgehog. He doesn't want to get his mouth spiked by the hedgehog's balls, but he's
whilst he eats it.
Yeah, whilst he eats it. It's like, oh god, that got on my teeth. That is pretty much the predicament Isildur is in right now if we see a second Ziz gun. Oh, nice on the flak half track, does eat a Ziz shot whilst the Volksgrenadiers push forward with the Sturmgewehrs. Meanwhile, Guards have a nade possible, but they get naded themselves. They're forced all the way back. Zis isn't able to get a shot off. Panzer IV pushes round the west side. A masterclass by Isildur and aggression.
Yeah, good 360 degrees attack there. It seemed he had Hughes totally surrounded, but Hughes very quick on the retreats. I don't didn't lose a single squad or support crew. Took a hell of a lot of damage, but soaked it up for now. Isildur now 63 munitions per minute and 39 fuel. He is just pacing ahead in the resource count as well as the VPs to boot.
Yeah, imagine a second Panzer IV as well now. It's going to be such a dominant position. But Ed, we gave the patrons, by the way, of the Master League, everybody $5 and up backer, got to vote on what Ed and I cast today, and everybody wanted to see this. They're sadists. They want to see Isildur dominate people. It has a certain allure to it, doesn't it? It is like watching a true master at work. Just like watching, like, you know, a late 80s Mike Tyson or a mid-2000s Roger Federer or any of these dominant sports people. There's a certain allure to watching, even if you know the outcome. And to be fair, I was giving Hughes some possibility of winning today. I thought it was possible. I thought he had like this adrenaline of being a new guy on the block, like this BDE, and he'd just roll in with swagger. But it's not to be. Ed is he's just dominating Isildur.
Well, yeah, Isildur's definitely breaking the mold of any Brit in an esport or sports situation being not the underdog for once. So he's definitely the favourite in this engagement. But oof, as a conscript survives with a sliver of health. I still think, okay, we are on Crossroads, and he is his famed OKW. We will see more in Game 2, I think, but Game 1 still isn't definitely over. As the P4 pushes in, there's enough resources for nearly a Panther if he really wants to put a nail in the coffin, but yeah, still a really good, resilient fight back here from Hughes, despite the odds.
Oh, but look at this Volksgrenadier incisiveness. They come in at the exact right moment, getting sentry nades off, and keep Hughes from keeping his defensive line. He's hanging on by his fingertips here, like the Finnish army on the Karelian Isthmus. He's just keeping the vast swathe at bay.
Yeah, and as the second P4 gets locked in, the second Ziz gun is going to be in the build, but Hughes, I think, is going to opt for a tank instead. Yep. Deletes the Ziz in the build and opts for T-34, just standard, Matt. That is never really what you want as the guard motor doctrine. But yeah, I think this has just been a masterclass, like I said, in the infantry battles of Isildur. We saw him have a tricky first engagement, got very aggressive, but it was all part of a master plan as he would then push out on other sides of the map, and he's just been busy the whole time, and Hughes is struggling to keep up with him. This is intriguing because usually it's the other way around, like the Asian players are a lot more higher micro intensive than the EU counterparts, but it just seems Isildur's micro is on point today.
Well, that's what made aecohmatt so successful last year. His APM was higher, his aggression was more incisive, and he played with wanton abandon. USE just seems to be a slightly slower player, and I think the Koreans have a special culture when it comes to competitive gaming. They understand the power of mechanical skill, and that's what you're going to have to be to beat Isildur Edge. You're going to have to be mechanically sharp and faster than him, because right now he's dominating everybody with his incisive play. Everything he does has reason and purpose and timing.
I just think he's played this matchup a million times in auto match. He's so well prepared for it. I don't think you're going to beat him at his own game. And the one victory we saw against Isildur last weekend was Von Ivan going close air support with double snipers. So I think that was more of the way. Or Von Ivan's an absolute god, one of the two.
Von Ivan is a very, very special tournament player. Somebody asked me in YouTube chat, do you think he's overrated? I absolutely disagree. I think he gave Isildur what for last weekend. But it is going to take a performance like that, a special performance, in order to unseat Isildur today, and hopefully Love Nest, and hopefully USE. I mean, he's not out of this series yet, don't forget. You need to get to 2 games in order to win the series. And it looks like Isildur's going to go 1-0 up at this rate.
Yes, death or glory for USE's troops at the moment, it seems. Playing a nice little mini-game within a game, but oof, this is so many losses on his support crews. T-34's in big trouble now, as we see the double P4s put to work. It's quite difficult to utilize 2 AKW P4s to their fullest without getting a bit too ballsy with one of them, but Isildur's managing it. He's got Vet 3 on his stern pyros, so extra fast fixie-fixies for him. And yeah, the triple cap is just crushing now for USE.
He's going to be out of the game with just over a minute now left, ladies and gentlemen, unless USE can pull off a miracle, and it would be a miracle. We'll be asking to see the palm of his hands if he pulled this one off, because, yeah, this is, it's very, very over. And Isildur, by the way, still got a lot of his command. I don't think he's used an OKW commander yet this tournament, showing the power of OKW as a faction. They have such a strong core strategy that's completely unrequiring of additional. But he could have used artillery. I mean, he had 370 munitions. He could have put something like a scavenger doctrine with the 105mm barrage. Would have helped.
Well, I said no surprises for seeing that he goes no doctrine, because yeah, he doesn't need it, and I think he just focuses on everything and utilizes his troops as much as he can without even needing any extra spice. So that's how he likes it. Meat and potatoes for Isildur.
Yeah, very much so. He's not one for showing off for the fans either, of course. No interviews from Isildur ever. And he is just...
Maybe that's him showing off, man.
Yeah. Oh, if I just win in as brutal a fashion as possible, and then leave...
His enigma keeps him, is his strength. It's like the Undertaker, you know? Didn't hear him tweeting away after each victory. Just last rided everyone into the ground.
Keep rolling for Isildur as he's going to steamroll the tournament, or that's what he wants to do. And we have 10 points remaining now for USE. He has to pick himself up, dust himself off, and get ready for game 2, because it's going to happen faster than possibly he would like at this point.
Yeah, double suppression platform has just suppressed any hopes of USE this game. And yeah, neatly tied up there by Isildur. Takes game 1. Can't wait for the flip reverse at game 2.
Ed was just saying that the people that vote for the what series will watch, they're so stupid. I was saying, no, we believe in democracy. We don't just go. We always
Come
go.
on, man. Oh, he's just looking around London for buses. I was like, that looks like a good one. Froze me right under.
I never said this thought, but whatever. No one will believe me. I just thought it was one-sided, but I did say in the little interlude there that was let's see what you can do as Axis, because there's a reason he's so highly ranked, especially in order match, and yeah, I just feel he played a bit into Isildur's hands. Isildur was just hit the ground running. He was on form. Game 1 is always nervy, Matt. Like, I don't know if I think you played the other week in a tourney, didn't you? You played yourself. You played.
It's really difficult.
You feel that in Game 1. Like, I felt it when I played Helper, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually a bit like, what do I do type thing. Do I go full YOLO, or do I just play it safe for the first game and,
it's
dip your toe in?
crazy. You play 30% worse, but you try 200% harder, so you end up playing 10% better. So the nervousness is worth 30%. So you have to try like 50% harder just to play better. Because I was playing against Sir Howie in the game 1, and no offense to him, I think that my innate skill is certainly better than his on paper, and I think he would be the first to agree. But I walked past the first capping points. Didn't build my conscripts in time.
Yeah, or don't build the green cover, and then you're like, I normally do that every game.
Exactly,
and now suddenly
every game.
It's just nerves, and these guys are not robots. They're people too, man. And I just think maybe it's just got to settle in a bit. Let's see how he reacts. So in game 2, that's the main thing. Fair enough. Everyone's going to lose the games in tournaments. It's highly competitive play, and there's a lot of money on the line for these games comparatively in the scene, and that can get to peeps. But also, it's not over yet. Like, you got to think, right? Game 2, completely separate thing. Game 1, all right, it's happened, but he's still got a chance to put him 2-1 to use. So I hope he doesn't lose hope after that game 1. And it did show glimpses of, okay, he knows what he's doing at this level. I just think he's against possibly the guy who's going to go on and win it. So it's tough. It definitely is tough.
Big shout out to Eda Pafalio, who gave me some of Bezos' Amazon money, so thank you for that. Big shout out to Sturm Tiger Gaddafi. You put Sturm Tiger Gaddafi at 80 Hertz and AE in a room, and I'm telling you, usually a normal human being would have 1 over 3/3 chance of winning. But I'm not no normal human being. I'm a genetic freak, so my chance drastic go up.
Matt, are you like signing up for the WWE or something? It's like...
That was an impression of Scott Steiner maths. Gaddafi got it, and that's all I needed, so it's fine.
Okay. Or UFC, I don't know. Some Void Rage.
It's Roid Rage, basically.
Yeah, the soy boy I've become. Dude, my hair's longer than a game of code between Isildur and Loveness, so yeah. If there's any barbers online in the London area, help me out. Send nudes. But yeah, tis what it is at the moment. But yeah, I think I hark back, Matt, last week where Von Ivan took a game off Isildur and gave him the old double sniper treatment and just a wacky build with a even wackier commander in close air support. Do you think it takes something like that, like player just to go mega curveball? Here you are. Let's see how you deal with this. Because I think just in a conventional 1v1 game against Isildur, you're just gonna probably get outplayed.
Ask yourself this, Ed. How does a player as crap as AE play a 15-minute game against DevM once and once only, and then the second game you crushed me? That first game, though, I threw a curveball. It's possible to overperform relative to your standard, and I know that, and I'm a terrible player. I'm awful. But I know for a fact that go on.
Pity.
Yeah, it's not. Honestly, these players don't have pity. But thank you anyway.
Pitied you for 14 minutes and then woke up.
Thanks for crushing my point. But I think you've played really well against
anyone
players
can
much
beat
better
anyone in this game.
You have to throw a curveball. You can't play standard.
Yeah.
If you're playing against somebody you feel is better than you and you fear them, in my opinion, you have to do something different. You can't.
But it's a computer game. It's not like you're going to get punched in the face by him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the fear or that element. I get the nerves as in like, oh, a lot of people might be watching this game and me mess up or blow up on my own mines or do daft stuff. But yeah, I just think I don't know, Matt. I think on your day as well, you know what you're doing. You just get to a critical mass like me, or
Well,
probably 90% of the player base. When we get more units, we're worse.
yeah,
But
I don't know.
so-
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think at this level of play, they're in control of their armies at all times. So it's not necessarily a mechanical problem. It's just a problem of confidence, and you see it all the time. That players have what it takes, but they're not quite confident, and they don't have that killer instinct quite yet. Ask yourself why Asher Blah has never won a tournament. Asher Blah, for me, is not aggressive or incisive enough. I've mentioned that word incisive a million times today, but it
yeah,
matters.
you found you a new word.
It matters. It's my new word for the day, but
I think you
it
get
really
like
does matter. You know, you've
a
got
percentage premium every time you say it. Man.
Yeah, but it does matter.
Incisive.com paying me off one word at a time. But no, I think you're onto something. Definitely, confidence has a big issue. But we used to see it with. I thought with Orange Pest, like sometimes he beat himself before he even gets in the game. But if you actually see his clickety click and his APM and all that stuff, you think, how the hell is anyone going to beat him? But yeah, we're just on a different level, Matt. I'm afraid that these guys
it doesn't
have
matter
ascended
what
to
level
greatness.
level we're on, mate. It doesn't matter because we've been watching these players play for years, and certainly I have. I've been talking to him for years, and Von Asten's problems stem from. Von Asten and Orange Pest very similar. They beat themselves up and their own worst enemies. Much like Helping Hands only had that one big tournament win, and that was it. Because it had to be a storm, a perfect storm for him to win. Because he beats himself up as he plays. He doesn't let things go. He tilts too easily, and that kind of attitude. That's like an attitude thing, I think, more so. But the way for me, the way Hughes played in that first game was with fear. He didn't play with aggression for me. So hopefully we see a little bit more disrespect in this next game. Yeah, a little bit timid. Let's see what we see in this next one. I've sent you an invite. Let's get it on. We've got, I think it's like 3 minutes till it's live. Yeah, 3 minutes.
I'll accept the invite, but
What?
yeah, I'll be ready, Matt. And yeah, I wanted to just close with one thing now that we're talking about confidence and all that in the game and stuff like that. This is the best moment now to cause upsets or beat the hell out of people that you never thought maybe you'd beat or whatever. Is that there's no leadership board at the moment in Code 2, right? You showed it on your YouTube yesterday, just a blank abyss. So no one knows what rank they are or whatever. They don't have to worry about some fictitious thing. Now they can go out and play for real, I think, with reckless abandon and show their true selves. So hopefully, I think there'll be a lot of upsets whilst this leaderboard's down. We'll see.
Yeah. I think unfortunately, because the maps have been crap for so long and the balance mod is taken for a while, probably winter 2023 by the time it comes out. I think like the auto match leaderboards, players are hiding away in scrims, and they're not playing with observer mode enabled.
That's a bit cheeky.
So Isildur, nobody gets to see him play until it's a tournament, and then he just comes out. And I remember he did this versus Kimbo. He plays on Smurf accounts. He has separate co-accounts, right? And Kimbo was streaming a lot at the start of last year, I want to say 2020. And Isildur was picking off for fun. He was like just coming in, like demoralizing him basically, and building up this kind of confidence for himself. So Isildur's been doing this in the background for a long time, and I think a lot of players have.
Which is ironic because Kimbo did that to like every other streamer going before him. So maybe it's just a chain reaction of people demoralizing you via stream snipes or what's that word, smurfing. But any real good player though, like they don't. When do you see Von Ivan smurf? He doesn't need to, does he? So just chads in.
No, he does, and
puts
he
his
always
win rate on the line every time.
He always plays on stream as well, which is possibly like playing with a handicap if you think about it. Guys, we've got 44 seconds till we're live, and let's
That's some good filibustering. Well done, Matt.
What's that mean? Is that where you...
We kept him busy with our words whilst
oh yeah, I remember you explained
everyone goes
that to me
get
last time.
some other snacks. Like
I think that was barely tolerable analysis. It was It was fine. It was acceptable. Let's...
Imagine your year-end review.
Ed,
tolerable
Ed,
analysis skills.
you've accomplished the bare minimum as a co-caster. Congratulations. All right, let's get the game on, guys. No more mirth and fun and happiness, because Isildur wants to finish this thing off. Let's not keep him waiting. That's right, long live Company of Heroes, and long live players like Isildur dominating opponents in tournaments, and AE and Ed casting it for you all, because there's a certain sadism involved in watching, is it Schadenfreude, Ed? The joy at others' misery. But maybe, just maybe, USE has what it takes, Ed. Maybe USE, playing as OKW now from north side of Crossroads Winter, maybe we're going to see him completely turn the tables. And Ed, what are you going to want to see from him in this game too?
From USE, I'd just love to see a bit more positive play, go forward action, and I think OKW is going to set that platform map for him to do that. Game 1 was a bit sturgy with his Soviets, but Isildur was putting the pressure on. You got to give him credit. Game 1, he was sublime. Now, it's pretty much same build order from Isildur, so it's up to USE now. Let's see what he can do with 3 different commanders as well, and I'm pretty sure, unlike Isildur, he will be utilizing them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has to use everything at his disposal. He needs to win this series to have a chance of progressing, and it would open up the field if Isildur was to lose this one. It really would. Now, let's have a look at his aggression. Let's see if he can target that narrow side. Indeed, he does. Conscript skip away, and they back up with the combat engineers, hoping the Stern Pioneers follow them.
Yeah, very different first engagement to last time, but still, USE wanting to put these Stern Pioneers into play as early as possible, and he could just go straight on for the cutoff, but chooses not to. See, yeah, he's predicted the other conscripts pushing up through the mid, and is flanked on 2 sides now. So again, Isildur so savvy with his first engagements, and yeah, I think
he's
USE
isolated, Ed. He is indeed. He's isolated now with the Stern Pioneers. It's not where you want a Stern Pioneer in the early game, being routed like this. Meanwhile, this Foch Grenadier is capping unopposed. One
this
fuel
is the thing. One green covered Stern Pioneer though is tying up 3 squads of Isildur's. This is where USE has to push somewhere else, force his opponent to move, and again, he takes the bait and comes in and tries to help out, when really he should be pushing that down to the munitions, getting that combat pioneer off the point, and making Isildur move where he wants him to go. It's a bit of a chess like in this 1v1, it should be anyway. And
it's worked out well, this has, Ed. The Stern Pioneer now, so I was doubting it because my confidence is low in USE right now, but he certainly soaked up a lot of pressure, was able to get his Foch Grenadiers in position and force away Isildur units, and that's what he wants to do in this early game. He wants to keep this up now. He wants to push forward with the Foch Grenadiers, and AE is going to be like an overbearing dad from the sidelines. Go on, son! Get in there! Come on, we want to get a series! We want to get a good competitive series. We want to see it happen.
This is just true 1v1 things, though. These conscripts are going to hold up 2 Volks now, and USE is taking the bait. Isildur, meanwhile, capping up the right-hand side and cutting off, making sure it's going to be a long time until USE gets his full fuel count, whereas Isildur maintained his for a bit longer.
Certainly did. We're going to have to see Rakettenwerfers in our near future for USE, because Isildur's had early fuel control. He is having it denied now, but he had this fuel for the first 2 minutes of the game. Better start for USE over there. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, I want to see a contest. You know, I want to see a true pick'em 50-50 long ass game on Crossroads, which normally lends itself to very tough games decided over the mid VP.
To quote what people don't know is in 2014, Relic Entertainment found a homeless person on the streets of Vancouver that claimed he could do a German accent. That man is the commander voiceover for OKW, and to quote him, "Give them death, give them destruction, show them no mercy." And that's exactly what Yu's is doing here, Ed. He's got more aggression about him. And so far, this game looks a little bit fairer, a little bit more equal, and that's what we want to see. Meanwhile, though, Ed, Isildur's back in base, and he's putting support weapon Companera up.
Yep, so getting that tier 2 down early. Probably going to go for good old Zizgun to defend against the flak half-track if it's coming. Or I could opt for some Maxims just to support the only 3 cons he's made. So it's interesting both players didn't go for 4 cons, Matt. And like I said, it's how you use them, though. And Isildur just seems to be on point with his infantry micro movement, forcing the issue every time. He's making Yus go where he wants them to, rather than vice versa.
Oh dear. We got the combat engineer here with the conscripts. Maybe we'll see a merge, or maybe he's just trying to buy time. He's tying up 3 units there, so not bad all in all. Meanwhile, by the way, Isildur's taken the fuel with another flamethrower in the east. So he's scorching Yu's face off right now and leaving him with no fuel on this earth.
Very aggressive change to the build. So instead of a sweeper and a flamethrower, it's double flamethrower delight into a suppression platform with a ratatata maxim boom 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 in the build as we enter phonetical code 2 casting mode.
Here we go. We've got the Stern Pioneers capping the victory point in the centre. That's a flag raising noise. No,
I thought I stepped on a rat, but fair enough. Got to get them shoe mines down for the dirty rats, trying to cap the mid VP. But here we go, flak half track in the build, and it was 4 Volks before the flak half track, as opposed to Isildur's 3 Volks into the vehicle with an MG and then the 4 Volks. So nice diversity in the workplace here. Let's receive the build orders. But it's scrapping for fuel at the moment is used with the Volks.
And he's just about wrestling it back, but it really feels like he's wrestling on his back right now, with Isildur looking for some ground and pound at every opportunity. First Grenadiers, being manhandled out of position. Big shout out to fans joining us for the very first time in chat. Company of Heroes tournament play is addictive to watch, so I'm sure you'll be here for the next 10 years, so make yourself comfortable. Flak half track is out, and these conscripts know what's in for them. They're trying to back away, but not before the flak can attack.
Can we, sorry to get a bit nerdy, Matt, but can we just check the veterancy of the flak half track? What happens at Vet 4, if I may? I think it gets...
Just keeping an eye on the Stern Pioneers. They're going to back away. Let's check out Vet 4. Rate of fire. Vet 5 is penetration and range. Vet 3 is maneuver the vehicle with greater efficiency. So it doesn't start to kill and hurt more until Vet 4, basically.
Yeah. It's a long-winded, long game, but it's great against... as we see, counter-attack tactics locked in from Isildur. Baoliang cosplay, let's go! Good to see some B4s, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a shocking choice from Isildur to actually go for a choice, because, of course, he hasn't really chosen many commanders yet under this Commander Terminator mode. T-70's found the flak off track. There's no support. There's no Panzerfaust anywhere near. Can he smoke his way out of the situation? He does have a Panzerfaust threatening. T-70 has to back away. Stays alive for now.
Great hold on the smoke there from Yus. You know, a lot of people could have clicked the panic button a lot earlier, but held it just for long enough, took as much damage as he could, and then popped it to make sure he could get within the Faust range for his Sanctuary. For the half track, it's safe for now, but definitely needs the Viken to back that up as he puts it into the build straight away.
As people may notice, the T-70's AoE profile has been tinkered with. It still is a go-to weapon of choice, but it's no longer an absolute extermination unit. And I think the old T-70 pre-patch may have killed and deleted a few folks' Grenadiers there.
Yeah, and we see the contrast in plays basically built the platform to allow this Isildur laying tripflare mines on every point, digging in under green cover with conscripts. That's the way you want to be able to play service with the T-70 plinking away for the damage. Whereas last game, Isildur just totally denied USE from having that luxury. And we'll have to see how the Raketten and the flak half track can work for USE, because he lost his T70 last game very quickly. He'll be wanting to do the same to Isildur this match.
Half track looking for some funny now as the Rakettenwerfer to back him up. He's not got this fuel for a while now. This conscript has been sitting on it. Folksgrenadiers go into tangle. Oh, but look at the T70 through the hedgerow, keeping the flak out of position. Was that a Molotov? Indeed it was. A fiery cocktail of demise for USE. Forcing him away, he tags in with a fresh Folksgrenadier.
And the T70's being able to blink away at max range, doing some work. Good attack round there from USE. Trying to deal with it through the hedgerows, but without line of sight, it's never going to be reliable, especially with a Raketten at best.
Game on as Rakettenwerfer hits the T70,
Oh.
forcing it away. What
There
have you
we
seen,
go.
Ed?
Yeah, well, just the Raketten actually hitting. Some hype. But it's a triple cap for Isildur. USE having to put the issue, that's the issue with this nice cutoff play, but hitting it those dirty trip flare mines every time you take a point. You're going to lose 25 manpower unless you get the sweepers there. It's rough stuff to fight up against in a 1v1.
He didn't fancy it. He could have held for the cutoff a little while longer there, but he felt that he was going to lose too much manpower to the Flamer. Meanwhile, he has now got his own fuel. Hits a mine with the MG34. So very Love-Nestonian with the play is Isildur right now, making full utility of his booby traps. Flak in danger. Zis tracking. Can he go for an overshot? No, he misses.
Have to be one hell of an overshot, but we've seen them happen. Where they just go double the length of a normal shot. Not today though for Isildur with that attempt, but it's good. He's always trying it though, that's the main thing.
Here we see the recon overflight giving full vision for Isildur, and he sees his prey and he wants more of that. He pushes in with the shocks and the Zis. He's got an option for everything. The MG34 hitting the mine was more than enough to start this off, because he knows the MG's back in base right now, so shots can push in. Raketten cowers away. Folksgrenadiers come to meet the Pepachars of the elite.
Yeah, the game sense is just on point for Isildur today, and shock tubes so hard to deal with without an MG34, but the flak half track at max range does lend a helping hand out for the Volks.
Oh, T70's going for an inspection, Ed. Let's ask for Papier and Bitter. I mean, the worst that could happen right now is he backs himself into this mine, but I don't think it's going to happen. I've heard about a direct hit or something over here. It was another mine. Folksgrenadiers lose another 2 models. USE is paying for ground in blood right now, and there's blood on the snow of Crossroads Winter.
Yeah, true Scorched Earth mentality utilized here from Isildur. Every point it's going to be mined and booby trapped, whereas USE does have the sweeper, but seems to be hitting all the mines just because that double engineer and great utilization of his downtime. Oh, as we see here, the first infiltration made Spec Ops tech for USE, so good to see the old Pickety Command Panther, but double Raketten for now, just for the long stall hold.
Smarty in chat watched my predictions yesterday. I did actually predict USE might beat Isildur today. I just thought he'd have this new kid on the block energy, this aggression, but I didn't see it in Game 1. I'm seeing a bit more of what I wanted to see in Game 2, but it might be too little too late. Let's see if he can make a true game of this. So far he's done okay. He needs to get some victory point control in order to make it get into those mid-games and take Isildur into deep waters.
See a double Raketten for only a T70 on the field, so instead of having the double MG34, which I thought could have helped out more with the shocks and a lot of the infantry squads of the Soviet army, but it's just looking tough again for USE. He's gonna have to try and wriggle out, but yeah, the Command Panther a long way up. You need the Schwerpanzer, remember this patch, so it's gonna be quite the hold or stall used to get that out.
Morsen the Gantz can't hit the wide side of a barn. Oh, the Zis finds the flak, by the way. He's got a smoke bomb in his pocket should he need it, so he should be fine. Folks Grenadiers fanning out. We've had an MG34 suppress conscripts in the east, but there's more waiting. Oh dear, that's Folks Grenadier sandbags, aren't they? And it's just holding the point. That's why.
Used against him, yep. Feels bad, but Isildur getting quite close to the B4 in terms of manpower and CPs, Matt. What do you think? First unit B4, or will he poop out a T-34? I think he is going for it because he hasn't built a tank yet, unless he's saving for KV-1.
KV-1's a solid option, though. I mean, it can eat Raketenwerfer shots for fun as the rest of your army pushes in from the side. It acts like a
Who
true
wants
tank.
solid option when you're this far ahead? I want 3 B4s, all in a line.
All I'll say is Isildur was asking me when ML4 is back in early December. He wants to win tournaments whilst he's got the time and he's got this skill level. You know, make hay whilst the sun shines, and the sun is shining on Isildur's army right now. He wants to win tournaments.
Volks was so close to the mine right there. They could have blown up the 2-man model, but got pretty lucky there with the T-70 scatter. Did use?
Apparently we hear from news from the other side of the bracket, so spoiler alert for the Von Ivan Love Nest series. But it looks like Love Nest is beating Von Ivan right now, so looks like we're headed to Isildur versus Love Nest as a decider to who progresses in this series. Both will be 2-0 up by the time we get there. That would be your next series, should Isildur win. Well, it will be your next series anyway, but it'll certainly be exciting should Isildur win here.
Yeah, it's going to need a bit of a minor miracle, I think, from USE, but he's weathered the storm. He's still got his 4 Volks alive, credit to him, because there's a lot of wipe potential with the Vet 2 T-70, Ziz Barrage, double flamethrower, and shock troops of Isildur. But USE has weathered the storm well, like I said, and just trying to get the the damn rascals off his cutoff point at the moment. He's being OKW'd as OKW.
Big shout out to aecohmatt, by the way. He couldn't be here to play in this tournament. Hopefully we see him at ML5 in a couple of months' time. But he for me, Ed, he brought the flak half-track kind of plays back for OKW last year. We saw him as the sole OKW player in every tournament. In every tournament he was using the flak truck, and just like he didn't understand the lack of hype. He never got it, and now other people are catching up with him. So fair enough. T-70, by the way, has 9 kills and counting. Raketenwerfer's been decrewed, but there's another one backing it up. Gets him. And recrews. This could be a takeout here. Can he get 2 more Raketen shots off? Oh, it's so sad. He was decrewed at the worst possible moments. Facing the wrong way anyway.
And the smoke and the puff.
Look at this, Ed. He's just pushed in on the west side with 3 Folks Grenadiers and a flak. He takes out the Maxim. That's a big pickup for USE. He's going to keep his Raketenwerfer in the east. He takes one of Isildur's support weapons. We have a game, everybody. We don't have the victory points.
We got a blob. And where there's a blob, there's a chance.
If in doubt, just blob,
dirty
everybody.
blob there, but along with the light jog of all his troops, worked out well there for USE. He's got to use something, radio silence, anything. Just keep trying to put Isildur off balance. Load more infiltration nades. They're only $15 a pop or 20 munitions. Just laver the field and try and make something happen, because at the moment conventionally it's not
Took out a
working.
flak emplacement. It's going to be an incredible push. He's going to base inspect later on today. Big shout out, by the way.
Takes out an AA. Oh god.
The A takes out the AA indeed. Oh, what a push by the Clement Virashilov that snuck up on us somehow in chat. 45 tons of heavy tank, in the truest sense of the word, has rolled onto your dreams and become your worst nightmare. Folks Grenadiers are dying. Clement Virashilov rolls in. We have seen the Schwer set up, but for how long?
Rough stuff for USE. There's always going to be risky where you put your Schwer, and especially in the situation he was in, and that looks like game now for him at the moment. But the
This is set up as well. We've got the Panzers. Sorry, the Folks Grenadiers pushing in with the Sturmgewehrs. They could take out the Zis. Veterancy 2, yes. But, oh, look at the merge. MLG merge from Isildur, keeping himself in position. Oh dear, that was all
Rubbing
lost for
salt on
you.
the wound, isn't it? The sick merge, bro, for the dabs. And yeah, doesn't need anything fancy, just gets the job done, does Isildur, in an emphatic fashion. As the shock troops come running amok up around the MG34. KV1 must have had max level on his covert movement skills, Matt.
I know.
He
we
did
just
stick him well there. And,
we were too busy talking about the plane crash. It was a false flag incident to make way for the true danger. The Clement Voroshilov heavy tank destroying everything in its wake. What can you do in the face of wanton destruction like this? Just crushing his way into your base, and he drops out of the game before the true damage can be done. But Isildur is in the last series of this group phase with a 2-0 lead. Only Lovenest can stop him now. And there as we go, we see the game actually wanted to bring him off faces, so GGA on the numpad controls there. But yeah, Pengu Luke says it very well in chat. He says, wah, wah. No, he says, GG easy, enough said really. And but
spoken like a true Chad who can take down Use in a 1v1 Co2 game. I would have done it in 12 minutes.
He does make the game look easy though, Isildur, doesn't he? He's got this, it's not plodding style, it's just this overwhelming style. Ed, we always use analogies from boxing because we're both boxing fans, but he's like a boxer with excellent footwork. If you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know why he dominates everybody. You don't know why Vladimir Klitschko had 18 title defenses. It was because of his footwork. It wasn't the jab, it wasn't the right, I mean, they certainly helped, but the footwork was superlative. It was always there. And with Isildur, you have to watch the replays, man. You have to pause them. You have to look what he does at any one time. And you have to understand why he is the best player in the world today. And only a true G like Lovenest could stop him.
Yeah. The Tin Hats in chat would... Maybe Emmanuel Stewart faked his own death to teach Isildur footwork to win Co2 tournaments. But yeah, I don't know. What all I do though is there was some very intricate little subtle differences from how Isildur went about that. It was flip reversed factions, okay, different commander utilized, but just in the build order, some subtle differences, and also just utilization of timing windows and drawing your opponent to pinch points on the map where Isildur wanted Use to have to go. He'll fight them on his terms. And I think that's all 1v1 in a nutshell is. And yeah, and then as soon as he got that KV1, it was nothing was going to stop that thing. That was like, you know, when you're 12 years old playing rugby or whatever, and there's this one of you is an absolute giant because, I don't know, genetics, bruh, and everyone else is some scrawny little weed just hanging on. That's how the Volks felt against that absolute donkey KV1 crashing through the lines. And Use, okay, he loses 2-0, but I think he'll take a lot from those games and learn from him and realize, okay, I need to shake this up if I'm going to beat the very best. And that's what he was up against today, was the very best.
We've got 3 other streams on today. I'm going to show them on the screen, but we're not going to listen to the sound. We're just going to get a picture. It's going to be like just AE and Ed chilling with you guys. Now, we urge you to go and watch these streams themselves, though, of course. So that's Ricky Rifle, Angry Dutchman, and Grey Shot. Guys, we're going to be waiting for Ricky Rifle's match, which is Lovenest von Ivan, to finish before we get our next series underway. So, of course, keep us in your hearts and dreams. We're going to turn this into more of like a podcast form. So let's do that now, and then we're probably going to have a break after that. So let's just get a feel for what we're seeing, Ed. Let's go to the monitor scene. And just make this so you can actually see it properly.
I believe it's Ricky with Pompey, assisted by the General Patrick earlier on as well. So all looks good there. Some old OKW versus USF instead, so no Soviets on that Crossroads Winter game. As Loveness and Von Ivan lock horns once again. He's been
Yeah,
the bogeyman, hasn't he,
he
historically, I think,
has,
for
yeah,
Loveness?
historically speaking. But I think Loveness might have like gotten over that. It was when Loveness was like literally thought he was untouchable that Von Ivan would have a thing or two to say about it. But Von Ivan's got, I think when you learn to play against Tournament Von Ivan, like very few people have, Ed. There's a select few people that probably are used to him. And I think Loveness is one of those few people that's used to him. He knows what to expect. I've seen it in tournaments before, Ed. When Von Ivan does a mad push, Loveness just thinks nowadays, here we go again. Reverse my packs, retreat my units, go in base.
It's like, why does it still work against me? You know, yeah, we all have them. We all have the bogeyman or lady or whatever that we go up against in auto match. We know the vibes, but in tournament when a lot of money's on them, must be frustrating. But a lot of it's mental, as you see in another stream, Seeking against DevM. Seeking, what a player! Like 3-4 years ago, I think it is now. Bloody hell, 2021, folks. So 4 years ago, I think Seeking just starts Co2, like barely played any hours. I'm playing a lot of 2v2s with him. He plays with me or Steve or whoever it was at the time. And just to see him now taking on like DevM, giving him a hard time and playing so well at this level is really inspiring, to be honest, in terms of the Co2 world. Just means stick at it, keep practicing, and you stream away, eat all the stream snipes you can take, because he transferred from a 2v2 player predominantly to a 1v1 and is making it stick and making it work. So anyone out there thinking, oh, I can't do it, or it's too hard or whatever to go from 2s to 1s, he's proof in the pudding that you can.
He certainly is, and I think the Master League's been very generous for Seeking because he's been able to try it at first, try playing 1v1 competitive, and then learn from his experience. Usually, you don't have this many good tournaments, to be frank. So, Seeking, I think he'd heard like casters such as myself saying, this guy's playing like a very good 2v2 player in a 1v1 world. And he went away and he thought about how he was playing, and he now plays like budget Kimbo. No, but
a very good 4v4 player in a
1v1. He plays incisively, and he just goes for it, and that's what you want to see. DevM in his pomp was very much that way, and yes, I've used that word again, but it's a very good word. And I think Seeking DevM today is like a lamb to the slaughter. By his own admission, he hasn't practiced properly for this tournament. Too much university work, but he still wants to practice anyway. Ed, I gave him the option of tagging in with me and you and doing some analyst casting for this tournament, but he's like, "Hey, I have a chance to win." I'm like, DevM, you've done no training. I know, I have a chance to win. So he always has a chance, DevM, but in this tournament, I think that people are starting to show that if we go to the brackets, I mean, look at the players that have taken this tournament exceedingly seriously. Loveness, Isildur, Von Ivan, Hughes, and Asherblaw, Nagano, who's got a big chip on his shoulder, don't forget, having gotten second place in 2 World Championship events 2 years running. I think that I want to say that it is getting really difficult to just rock up on the day with your innate skill level from years gone by. I think that the player pool now is really super duper strong.
I think without, call me crazy, but without Kimbo, there is no Nagano.
Oh, you'd hate to hear that.
when you have Kimbo in a tournament, Nagano raises his game by about 4-fold. Yeah. And without Kimbo, he just seems to maybe not have that. He's like the water boy without the fear inside his head, or like to take out the rage, as I go back to that.
It's so
example.
true, Ed. Nagano's best performances last year were definitely versus Kimbo. I'd actually agree with it. I didn't know where you were going there.
Nagano's like a mega rich hedge fund manager. He's just retired. He's like, what do I do now? that's how I think he.
But he has won that many tournaments. If we go
he probably doesn't at all.
If we go over to the Master League, Nagano has got so many points on the all-time rankings. He's second on the all-time rankings, Ed. He's been playing in tournaments for absolutely years. And unfortunately for him, the only major tournament wins he has are kind of like latter-day Co-1 tournaments. They were competitive, but so he has so many second places and third places under his belt. I think he needs a foe like Kimbo to bring out the best of him. Somebody he actually despises. he needs a heel. You know, a baby face is only good as the best heel, and you need a bad guy. You need
I love how high Talisman is still up the list. It just
in
shows
one tournament.
how good he was at that
He
era.
was. He played
What
for a
happened
year.
to Jove, may I ask? Like, Jove, we
know.
saw, what was it, a year ago or 2 years ago in the 1v1 Sega tournament, World Championships, and he was holding on tough there. I think he got to the semi-finals or finals. But yeah, it's a shame. I'd like to see the old Kimbo Nagano rivalry back maybe in future tourneys, but yeah, in other things, you know, it's time for the stage for the new boys, like your Sea Kings. Maybe if Free Runner or Expensive Runner would want to get involved on the weekends for
Actually
tourneys.
sign up in time, exactly, instead of hitting the
Well,
gym, bro.
he just
he didn't
yeah,
sign up.
wants
He wanted to play. I told him to
himself,
sign up. I told him to sign up, mate. But he wants to play, by the way. He actually wants to. He just didn't get his admin sorted. He didn't actually sign up for the tournament. He's a very good player as Expensive Runner.
I think,
and he's still got a Master League ranking to this day. He's 23 in the world on the live Master League, who's best in the world rankings. But really, we know he's like top 15, definitely. So we want to see that, and I just really, now we're going to have so many more tournaments this year. We've already got, next month we've got Angry Dutchman's tournament lined up, and then after that I'm thinking we might have a Master League Super Major. We might have a really big tournament ourselves for a lot of money, so that's going to be fun. Let's check out what's happening on the Seeking front. DevM is holding his own. This game looks fairer. He's down on the victory points though. Let's go over to Ricky Rifle.
Got the stream in our sights. We're stream sniping to learn how to cast, folks. Don't worry. Just give us a minute.
Look at this. Von Ivan, by the way, he has a strong army with a Persian out, but not much infantry. Meanwhile, Love Nest, is that the King? Is that the Panther he's got there? It looks like a hype game. 26-minute in, we got Panther versus Pershing.
And a Vet 5 fouls trying to demolish a Vet 3 Rangers, but for once, Von Ivan survived with a unit retreat. But 3 MGs there. Just see, I know we're only seeing a little cross-sectional in time. But yikes, that looks like a lot of lockdown for Loveness there. On a map that pretty much needs an MG in each VP. It's a wide old
he hasn't
map.
lost an infantry squad yet either. You can see by his veterancy in the top right there that he's doing extremely well for veterancy. I mean, guys, if you want to go watch, I'm not trying to steal views here by any stretch of the imagination. All these guys are helping out today, so I'll paste the URLs in the chat. Please go check them out properly. This is just Ed and I chilling because we've got a while to wait till our next series. We're probably going to be able to have some dinner and go away and come back stronger for the last series of the day, which is going to be Love Nest versus Isildur.
Get that G Fuel back in. But yeah, give Ricky Rifle and the other boys some much needed love, folks. They're putting their Saturdays on the line, and yeah, I think they'll be great casts to tune in for, I'm sure. But
I gave Ricky, by the way,
we didn't see Hughes losing so fast really in Series 1. So.
Angry Dutchman series, by the way, is Nagano, Asher, Blah. I don't know who's winning there. Looks like Nagano's making a comeback versus Asher Blah. Just pretty
See
exciting.
the sniper, so it must be Asher's real account. He loves the sniper, does he? Regardless of game mode, and he's very, very nifty with it. So that looks like a good old ding dong. Nagano way ahead on VPs, but you see the army composition of Asher.
I love Angry Dutchman, by the way. He could have put the Master League logo over the central bit, but he's like, no, I must have that cartoon picture of my face. He's
learned a lot from you, Matt.
I don't put a picture of my face in the center.
Self-promotion.com.
So yeah, but that series looks pretty hype. Ricky's series, I'm going to keep an eye on. Ed and I are now going to go on a sabbatical, so rest in peace the view account. But stick around for the
I'm
music
on gardening
if you
leave
like
for
it.
10 minutes.
But we will be back after Von Ivan and Love Nest series is finished with Love Nest versus Isildur, and probably a little bit of a break between the two series to keep everybody fresh and ready. So yeah, let's go to the interlude music, and we'll be back whenever we're allowed to be, when Von Ivan and Love Nest is finished. So see you soon, guys.